Yo, what's going on? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, March 14th, 2024. There's a typo in there. There's a lot of typos in the titles, but we're just going to go with it. I think we all know it's 2024. Although maybe a long time in the future, someone will be searching back through old live streams. Maybe, probably not. But anyway, we're here. I'm here. You're here. Welcome. We got a pretty fun show today. Got a package here from Gorewear, which I probably should have opened on yesterday's live stream because it rained all day today. And because I didn't have what I think is in here, I did run on the treadmill. Although it's probably better that I ran on the treadmill anyway, and I'll explain. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast, on the audio-only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run. And if it's raining, hopefully you've got a nice, good waterproof layer to protect you from some of the elements. And for everyone else watching later but not live, welcome to the number one place to think about what pet toys you might want to get for your dog. We had Tail Wag Wednesday yesterday. A lot of good boys and good girls came in to the live stream. Hope you guys had fun with your dogs. And, they might need a new toy. So two-window situation, live stream on one side, pet toy shopping on the other, You could do that. And you know what else I do? Something that I used to do. I don't use Amazon all that much anymore. And I try to use it not that much at all. But every time I have like little things like that, I'll just add it to a cart and then wait. Because I don't like to try to add up to free shipping. I'll just put a bunch of stuff in the cart. And then every once in a while, once it gets to a certain level, then I'll buy it. Because it's not stuff that I'm usually in a hurry for. So maybe that's something you could do if you want. If you're into Amazon and dog toys. There's lots of other places to get dog toys too. But all right, let's see who else we got here in the chat. Eliza says, I saw the title for this and thought for a minute that it was March 14th that dropped. And like, whoa. Oh, Mach 14. Yeah. Oh, I have many typos in the title. I said March in 2025. Yeah, I'm all sorts of a mess today. You know what? It's just kind of like a weird thing. I ran out of time. I was supposed to make a game for today because I didn't have any time for Tuesday. But getting today's Cloud Eclipse video out just took a long time. I don't know what it was. I think I'm marathon training is ramping up, and I think I'm just a little sluggish on stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and chalk it up to that. So many typos in here. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. What else we got through here? Natoku's got everyone started in the conversation. The chat says. So he said, today I experimented and did a 5K run in zone 2, 3, but only did nose breathing. It was tough but manageable. What are your thoughts on nose breathing while running? Hype or game changer? I'm not too interested in the nose breathing personally, Nataku. Because number one, I like low heart rate, and I spent a lot of time on low heart rate, and I got a lot of flack for running low heart rate. Years ago, people were giving me such a hard time for running low heart rate, and I was just like, all right, no more weird running things for a while. My self-esteem can't handle it. And so like when Flora started talking about nose breathing and people started talking about taping their mouths when they sleep, I was just like, interesting, but not for me. I've been through the ringer enough. So I'm a pass on that. And for me, I generally just find that like the more I breathe, the lower my heart rate can stay. And so I do feel like a lot of times your heart rate elevates when there's a higher amount of carbon dioxide in your system. It's not a lack of oxygen that makes you breathe heavier and heart rate raise. It's higher CO2. It's my understanding. So I just breathe a lot. Ad libitum is my kind of, as long as it's not making you pant, hyperventilate, or cramp, ad libitum, as much oxygen as you can get. It's my general thought to it. All right. Eric says he got 5K through 8 inches of snow in the morning. FUN. At least had some GTX Agility Peak 5s on. These things are awesome. I'm not familiar with that, but very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I saw on Threads this morning, you guys got a lot of snow up in your neck of the woods. But yeah, I think it was some people were talking. I saw some photos and I was like, man, that's a lot of snow. But I guess that's Colorado, right? Is that normal? All right. Carl Seiji says, I'm a long-time lurker, first-time poster. I want to share my excitement as I just registered for my first marathon. I'm 1 year to my running journey and have run 5 halves to date. Let's go. All right, Carl. Well, congratulations to you. It's very exciting. And 5 halves. I feel like you're ready, So there we go. Fueled by Air says, Happy Pie Day, everyone. My wife woke up today. We had pizza for dinner last night. And my wife today was like, I'm very disappointed that you didn't have pizza ready for Pie Day. And I'm like, we could have pizza twice. I'm okay with that. If you guys are okay with that. So I'm like, I don't know why that would stop me. Are you guys going to have pizza for dinner? I feel like I need to have pie for dinner. I would like to have maybe some pie. Maybe we'll get a pie. I don't know. Grant says, Yoko, I showed my wife the video of you talking to our dog yesterday. She was very confused. Tail Wag Wednesday isn't for everyone, I guess. It's really funny. Grant Reese says, what's up, Cohen Squad? Just finished my track workout. A 1 mile warm up, 5 times 1,000 at 6 minutes and 2 seconds per mile. And there's more. 4 times 400 at 5:30s, then a cool down felt great. Whew. Good luck to everyone yet to run today. That's speedy, Grant. That's speedy stuff. Short warm up too. But wow, good job. Good way to get it done. 4 times 400 at 5:30. I'm trying to think if I could do that. I'm not sure I could do that. Ooh. Mark says you should get an affiliate link for a dog toy brand. That'd be kind of fun. That I wouldn't care about. Maybe we need to. Should we get some dog toy sponsors on this channel? Fueled by Air says, what treadmill do you have, Co? Recall you speaking on it previously and just don't recall thinking of investing in one. I don't know the model of it. We got it at Dick's, just like a big box store store, if you don't have one near you. And it's a Nordic Track something. It's got a big screen on it. We don't use the screen. But first, it had a stronger motor and a wider deck. And so we picked it, and then it ended up getting the big screen. So I usually just watch I have an old big iPad. Remember when the iPad Pros were really, really big? I have one of those. I think it was the first year of USB-C. So I have that still. But that's a really nice screen. And I watched 2 episodes of Peaky Blinders. I feel like this is a good, I'm really into the show now, and I've been enjoying it, and I'm going to London soon. So I just feel, I know it's in Birmingham, but they talk about London, and I know it's not the same era, but it's just getting me excited, Yeah. I'm going to come in. I just feel like I'm going to get to London all aggressive and looking over my shoulder because I've been watching Peaky Blinders for the last month. And Cheryl Ross is here. Hey, Cheryl. How's it going? Long time no see. Great to be back. Great to have you back. All right. Daniel Burton says, my warm-up for a hard workout is always a mile. I think, Sage and Sandy have been writing longer and longer warm-ups for me. First, it was 2 miles. Then it was 3. The other day, I think it was 4. Was it 4 or something like that the other day? And I think that's because on the easy runs, I always tell them this easy run, 10-mile easy run. I felt fine after 5 miles. So I just feel like they're oh, it just takes them a long time to get warmed up. So, yeah. Adam says the harder the workout or the shorter the race, and the older I get, the longer the warm up. Same. I agree. And Fiona 1977 says they get to London eventually. No spoilers. I mean, I've already, in season 1 they got to London for that one time, and then I'm in episode 2 of season 2. I know it's been out a long time, but I'm just getting to it now. So no spoilers, please. I mean, if you could spoil it, I'm still gonna watch it and I'm still gonna like it. Michael I says, Co, I love the outfit at the end of the Eclipse video. Had to squint to find you. The orange in the shoes gave you away. So remember how we unboxed the Say Sky? I wore it and it's in the Cloud Eclipse video. So there's a couple of clips throughout, but and I also think I threw in one day I had the t-shirt on. But I threw in I gave you guys the full jacket and long pants at the end. So you got to go all the way to the end of the Cloud Eclipse video to see that. Andrew Cho says, "Hi guys, I did 2 times 3 miles today. I didn't puke and I hit my split, so that's a win." There you go. What's the effort like for a 3 mile? Hopefully that was like marathon pace or slower, because otherwise, dude, that's a long rep. I was just watching I've been getting, which has been great. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos from runners who have less than 1,000 subscribers. It's been really fun. And it's amazing how good these videos are, considering like people have like 200 subscribers and like 4 videos. Like, how did you get so good at making these? It took me like 1,000 videos to get decent at making stuff. But one was of a woman. She did a, what was it? It was a long one. It was 6 miles or something, like 5 miles at tempo. And her tempo was like 6:10s or threshold, you know? And I'm like, that's like a rate. That's basically that's almost a 10K effort, you know? If that's really her threshold, you know what I mean? And at the end, she was like, I was really holding back. And then she threw the Strava splits up there, and her last mile was like 5:50. I was like, what the heck? How fast is she? I mean, she has like 2 videos, so I don't know how fast she runs. I don't know her. And I was just like, this is incredible. Like, if you're doing a 5 mile tempo and you're holding back, finishing at 5:50, I mean, she must be running as fast as Megan Murray. You know, I don't know. It's wild. Matthias Ventus says, have you seen Hans? Hans just graduated from Augusta College, and now he's storming into ultras. I don't think I've seen Hans before. I don't know. I've been trying to share it with you guys on Instagram. When I find like a channel, there's this one, I forget his name. His series is called The Line. He's a UK runner, a younger guy. And he's racing all these like very British 5K races, cross country races, and it's pretty incredible. And it's got let's say like 600, or I had like 280 subscribers when I found it, and I'm just like binge watching these videos. It's really good. So make sure you're following me on Strava so I can help show you guys all these new channels that are fun. Brian Albrecht says, I'm loving a bunch of the small channels just talking through their training. I just want to be exhausted with me. Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like that. And CJS says, is anyone else following the hardest geezer running the length of Africa? He's in the Sahara now, and it's actually getting suspenseful. LOL. Yeah, I mean, that's wild. That's really wild. I have not seen that before. Is that the name of the channel? The hardest geezer? It's interesting. Andrew Scott says, what's a very British 5K? Like a cross country race. Everyone's muddy. The kits look like basically you cut the sleeves off of a bunch of like old timey sailors. So like it's stripes, vertical stripes, horizontal stripes. It looks like sailing flags. You know, like the kinds that they tell you, like if it's too windy or to be out there or not or whatever. Like all different. The colors are wild, and like the paces are incredibly fast, and everyone's just like working really hard. And there's just so much screaming. It's really intense. Have you? I'll have to look it up again. But you guys, it's pretty cool. It makes me like, oh, maybe I want to do one of those. But then I'll be like, they probably get mad at me for running so slow. But yeah. Calvin says it looks like rugby shirts. Yeah, like rugby shirts, but just with no sleeves. Everyone's wearing sore. It's amazing. Yeah. So it's pretty fun. And Graham says, yes, hardest geezer, absolute animal, and he's going to do it too. I've never heard of anyone running across Africa. Oh boy. Fueled by Air says, co-shakeout in London. Yes, there will be one. I'll have more details somewhat soon. There's definitely going to be one. I'm not sure the date and time yet. But yeah, we're working on it. All right. Let me show you something real quick before we get to the box for today. Something that I was thinking about since yesterday I got my scale out. Let's turn the scale on. And let's get it zeroed out. Okay. And since we've been weighing these shoes, right? I feel like we should have a list. Wait, what happened here? Oh, I got to zero it again. All right. We had the Endorphin Speed 4, 8.5 ounces. And, all right, let's do the grams too. 8.5 ounces and then the grams. And what I wanted to do is make a list and keep track of all this stuff. So let's do that. So 8.5 ounces, 240 grams. And then is this interesting to you guys? I just think it'll be fun because then we could search them by weights over the years, you know. Sorry, I'm just weighing this again one more time in ounces. Wait a minute, 0. So now it's weighing at 216. 7.6. How did this gain a tenth of an ounce? Weird. Go back to 0. 7.6 now. Oh, okay, it's been 7.6. All right, so there we go. So we'll keep track of a list. Luis says we're getting Excel sheets. There we go. I feel like this is where this has been going the whole time. I feel like if I was more crafty, I would make a board like Top Gear, put it on a little thing, a magnet, and slide them up and down. But I want to keep it sorted so that way we could see like, oh, this is as heavy as a Fast R2, So, and Michael I says don't forget to list size as well. They're all going to be size 9, and then I guess I can make a special note if it's not a size 9, but. These are all mine are size 9. Yeah. So Sean's like, I know we're all nerd here, but the spreadsheet, LOL. I'm just gonna lean into it. This will make more sense later. I think I gotta sort this already. Well, I'll just move this. That's the easier way. I was always decent at spreadsheets and never great. It'll make more sense once I'm like moving things up and down. You know what I mean? And adding or subtracting. Not adding or subtracting, moving things up or down on the list. So then it'll be fun that way. We can see where stuff falls. Because I always forget relative to other things how much stuff weighs. So there we go. So that's it. We won't spend a lot of time on it. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I thought we'd just give it a shot since I had all this stuff out here. Michael I says make it public. The list could be major. I guess I could make it public. Then I have to make sure that no one else has write access and stuff, I guess. But Nate says, I'm Michael Freak and the sheets go. Yeah. Adam says, add the weight, date, and miles on the shoe when weighed. All right. I'll just add miles on it. And 0. Because I think that's relevant. Because I'm not going to go back. I think, here's the other thing. I didn't do that initially because I was just thinking I'm only going to do it for brand new shoes before I wear them. Because then that has too many variables. Yeah. But we'll see. Stevie76 says we need to workshop the spreadsheet title. It's called shoe weights. You don't like shoe weight? What else would it be? Oh boy. All right. CJ says you should come up with a co-score like the Doug score for cars. I'm not familiar with the Doug score, but people have been asking me to score and rate shoes from the beginning of when I've done shoe reviews, and I always refuse to do that. I don't like rating the shoes. It gives an illusion of objectivity and precision to a subjective and imprecise evaluation. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But Calvin says it's also worth noting the discrepancy between left and right. Some brands have bad quality control and it varies a lot. Okay. which shoe. Man, we're gonna have to add a lot of stuff in here. I feel like we need to have like a lot of other smaller columns, maybe like not grayed out, but gray, so they don't confuse me. You know. Michael I says, and this is the weight of the shoe. I think that's what you typed there. Okay. Paul Bug says, did you have a date? Should sort of trend over time? I guess like, do we need to do that? Because like, I'm listing which shoe model it is, so I think that's going to be okay. Maybe. Richard Wilson says, buy 5 pairs, toss the high and low and average the middle 3. I mean, that actually would be more accurate if I could. Can you imagine me going to a store and being like, bring me 5 pairs of the Endorphin Speed 3, please? And then weighing them, I could bring the scale. Because this scale plugs in by USB because it's like a postage scale, you know? And so I just use an external battery to keep it charged. I could bring this with me to like a Fleet Feet. Yeah. Brian Albrecht says, keep it simple or you won't update it. I think that's the way to go. And James says, don't forget the TPS cover page on the shoe weight spreadsheets. Thanks. Funny. And Eric says, do you want to weigh him at the start and at the end for the 100-mile review? Exit weight? Should we do that? Do we need to do that? I don't know if I want to do that. That seems like a lot. I think it would be interesting data, though. But I think it would also just be so variable depending on, like, well, is this a shoe I ran in the winter and there's, like, salt, like road salt weight in it? And there's mud weight in it? I don't know. All right. Eliza says, will there be pivot tables? I'm going to admit something to you guys. I don't know what a pivot table is. I never learned that. So I don't know. Probably not. All right. Let's get to the box. I think it's time for the box. After all that, let's have a little palette cleanser. Today we got a package from Gorewear. And you guys are just loving making work for me. Steve Blackadar says, make a PowerPoint slide for every shoe to make a never-ending slideshow. No, thanks. All right. Let's get this open. It is from Gorewear, isn't it? Yeah, it says from Gorewear.com. I think I know what it is, but I'm actually not positive. This is a lot. Why did they put all this in here? It's apparel. I don't understand that. But I don't know. And it looks like we got a jacket. Gorewear. It's nice. What is this? Is this green? Brown? I'm not sure what color this is. Oh, there's a magnet in here. Oh, there's a magnet in the back. So it doesn't flop around? Is that what it's for? Interesting. It says Gorewear reflective word mark in the back. Little stripe down the back too. A couple of little reflective hash marks on the tricep and on the forearm. Love it. Let's try it on. Ooh, this is nice. It felt really nice coming through, hands coming through there. It's got a little bit of stretchiness in there. Keeps it nice and snug on the wrist so water doesn't get in that way, I presume. And then let's zip it up. Gorewear stuff, just so you guys know if you've ever bought it before, it's a very like athletic cut. So if you've ever bought stuff from like Kraft, that's like very like the fit is a little bit similar to that. So it's not as roomy, but this fits very well on here. I like it a lot. Let's get the hood on. Adam says it sounds plasticky. It does make a lot of noise. I'm worried that I'm gonna like zip my beard into this. I'm also still wearing my headphones on, so I got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm not sure how I feel about this hood. Let's take the headphones off. There we go. This hood is a little bit weird. It's kind of, I feel like it's like a medieval helmet a little bit, you know? I'm not sure it works for me. Michael I says it looks like Mario in a frog suit. And John Boy says water resistant test. I think Robbie did a really good one. Did you see? I think he has the same jacket. His is yellow, I think. His looks like a raincoat. But he was like standing underneath the most gross thing I can imagine. Like a water drain coming off of a bridge. So like all the water from the deck above was draining onto him and he was just letting it pour on him. And he said it worked. So yeah. Let me take this off so I could read the tag here so I could tell you more about the waterproofness. And Andrew Scott wants to know if it's packable. Let's see. Interesting pockets in here. All right. I don't think it's packable. Not the way that these pockets are designed. It doesn't look packable to me. I could be wrong. But there is a little bungee at the back of the hood to help with fit. And then there is that magnetic part back here to keep the hat from flopping around if it's really, really windy. The hood. That's nice. Hear that? Nice little snap. All right. So as far as the waterproofness, it says it's Blue Sign approved. The laminate is Blue Sign approved. Made with only safe chemicals and raw materials, and their origins are traceable and trustworthy, so that's good. And then the Gore Performance has Gore-Tex. All right, solid protection, durably waterproof, reliably breathable, and totally windproof. Today would have been a really good day for it. It's like 40 degrees and raining. My least favorite weather. Because I just feel like you get cold and it just chills you to the bone. So there's that. And the color is green, utility green. Concurve GTX men's jacket. There we go. Yeah, so windproof and waterproof. I'll have to do a search for you guys to let you know if there's like a number. Because there are numbers, right, that go with waterproofness. And you have to have a certain waterproofness level for certain races. So I feel like that's going to be an important number to kind of check up on. But yeah, so the way that Gore-Tex, they say it's breathable, is that like the membranes in Gore-Tex, if I understand Gore-Tex correctly, are big enough to let air and swampiness out, too small to let water in. So that's the idea. So that's how the breathability on it works, and that's how the I don't know, the windproofness is different. But yeah. I don't know, I'm just looking at the garment. It's really nice. But here's the reason why I decided not to, even with this jacket, why I decided not to run outside today, is because we are getting kind of close. It's like, I don't know when peak week is, but it's going to be somewhat soon. And I'm just very concerned about getting sick. I get sick easily, I think. And I'm feeling very run down already from the load of marathon training, and so I just want to make sure I'm taking care of myself. You know, that's the main reason for it. You know. Brian Lang says, "Is this special GTX? Because none of my GTX gear is breathable." LOL. Yeah, I don't usually have a problem with like the shoe, like Gore-Tex shoes. People are always like, "Oh, Gore-Tex shoes are so hot." I'm like, they're not usually. They're not usually that much hotter to me. I don't know. And Brian Albrecht says, "Blue sign approved." Of course, I always look for that. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. I'm not sure. Yeah, Lou says it looks like a really good rain jacket. Yeah, I'm feeling it'll be very warm. I'm probably going to bring it with me to London. Because, I don't know. Does it rain as much? I've been to London once. It was in the winter. I can't remember. I don't remember it raining. But I don't know. Eliza wants to know if there's pit zips. No pit zips. Just the 2 pockets on the side, and those are the only zippers. And this pocket, I keep looking at the pocket. So if you guys are wondering like why I'm quiet, I'm intrigued by the pocket. So you can see I've got my hand into the pocket, and now I'm looking on the inside of the jacket at the pocket. Here's the pocket. But like what's weird about the pocket design is that like it's sewn inside here, to the jacket, but then there's also a gap here. I don't understand this part. It's kind of weird. For those of you who are listening, I don't know how to explain it. There's just the way that they've sewn this pocket in is just a little bit confusing to me, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I don't know why it's this way. But the pocket is kind of see-through. Why? I don't know. But we'll see. Food Buyer says it rains a lot in London. A lot. Yeah. Patrick Smith says, I'm more wearing a jacket running than not wearing one in the rain. Yeah, I usually only wear, like I have a Gore-Tex, I have the Gore-Tex R5, that jacket. Love that jacket. I only wear it on like the coldest days because even though it's so thin and light, it just keeps me really warm. But if I'm going to be standing around outside, that's not the kind of jacket I want. But if I'm running, then yes, Bernard Planer says, do you plan to run in it or wear it mainly casually? I'll probably wear it a lot running. And then also I'll probably wear it for my daughter's track meets. Last year, it rained like every track meet. And so I wore the Soar raincoat all last time, but might mix it up with this one too. So that'll be nice. And Randy Cafaro says, it might become handy for your Seattle trip. Oh, maybe I'll need it for Tiger Claw. Yeah. And Danny Guglielmo says, hey, Co, have you tried the 2-in-1 shorts from Bandit? If so, would you recommend? I'm searching for a new pair of 2-in-1s. The 2-in-1, yeah, I've tried the 2-in-1s. The ones that I've tried are like a bluish color, and they're short. It's like maybe they call it a 5-inch, but it feels a little bit shorter than a 5-inch. But I love those. They're really good. And Brian Lang says, I think for rain jackets to work, you really need the air vents. What? I'm trying to think. What? I think I have an Ultimate Direction jacket that is just, it's kind of almost like 2 pieces of material on the back. So there's like a back flap on the top side. So it lets a lot of air out that way. So I've seen it that way too. But I feel like if I don't need it to also keep me warm, then I don't really need a rain jacket. You know what I mean? I'll just get wet. If it's like 70 degrees and raining, I'll just get wet, So I kind of like when a rain jacket keeps me warm too. I don't know. I do avoid the rain a lot. I love snow. I love very cold temperatures. Rain, maybe I don't have the right, or maybe it's because I've never had a Gore-Tex rain jacket before, maybe, So, yeah. Brian Arbeck says, forgot to mention, beware of Bandit delays. A month ago, I ordered some tights for a race this weekend, and they didn't say it was delayed until after ordering. Oh, still not shipped. That's a bummer. And Brian Lang says, honestly, if it's not cold, I just run shirtless in the rain and embrace it. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the rain. But it's just like, it goes real quick though, from like, it'll cool me off, the rain, to like, I think this is going to make me have a cold later. So that's how I kind of feel about it. So. Sean Devlin says, I think Tracksmith just came out with waterproof or water resistant shorts. Water resistant shorts. That seems weird. No? I don't know. And Eric says, he has to get his own UPS package. I think it's the new Craft Explore. It's a hybrid shoe. Kind of excited. Nice. Nice, Eric. Hope you have fun with that one. You can take it out in the snow. I feel like you should take it out in the snow. Adam says, you don't need waterproof in Colorado. Our rain is dry. Raj Kumar Rushanji says, how about comparing Soar and Gore rain jackets at some point? I don't really like to review apparel. That does not sound like a comparison I would like to do. I like to talk about apparel that I like. There's stuff that I like, but I don't want to do like a review. Like, here's the good stuff, here's the bad stuff, all that. Because it like always devolves into, is it really worth X amount of dollars? And I'm like, that's up to you, you know? And so I'm just like, it just gets really negative. Like apparel reviews for me in my comments always got really negative really fast. And I'm like, okay, don't watch a Tracksmith No Days Off collection review video then. You know, so that's why I'm not really doing them. Plus, my studio is set up for things that are this size, and pants are bigger, and so like I have to reconfigure everything every time I want to shoot clothes. So that's why I just don't like it. I was on Threads and talking to Athletic Katie, because she does these really great graphics and like charts and stuff. Speaking of nerding out over data. And she made a chart of like the pieces of running clothes that she wore most frequently in a month. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm going to copy that because that's a really nice way to talk about the things that you like without it being a review and without it having to make I don't know. I just felt like that was a nice way to talk about things. Like clearly you like it and it's working for you because you wore it 7 times in a month, you know? So I like that kind of stuff I like. Plus like if like, I just can't, mainly it's just the comments that I just don't want to deal with for a lot of apparel reviews. They're so energy draining. Cause let's say I run in the rain. It's going to be like when I run in trail shoes. And I'm going to say, this is good for technical terrain. And people are like, that's not technical terrain. You should come run over here. Where I live, it's much more technical. It's much more muddy. It's much more vert. It's much more difficult. It's much colder. It's much hotter. Whatever, you know? It's always like, it's knifey spoony. That's not a knife. This is a knife. And so I just don't, so I was like, oh, this is great for waterproof. And I'll be like, yep, I ran in the rain, 3-hour long run. I was sweaty on the inside, but dry compared to how miserable I would have been if I just wore like a water resistant layer. And someone else will say, yeah, but that's not a real test. A real test is if you run a 100-mile race and it rains the entire time, and then also you have to swim a little. You know, like I just feel like it, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know how to ignore it. I don't know. So that's a big reason why I just don't do a lot of apparel reviews. Stevie76 says, if you turn off comments, are the videos demonetized? I'm not sure, but you're penalized, you know, because then it doesn't get the algorithm doesn't get the same signals. Plus, I don't like it when videos don't have comments turned on. Always seems weird to me. And so like they're on and I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. James says, Code might not like doing apparel reviews, but he should. I mean, I don't know. I keep rethinking it over and over, I'm like, yeah, maybe. So I just don't know. I just feel like all the conversations about it are always come down to you didn't really test it and it's not really worth that. And I'm just like, do you want to know if I like it or not or what? You know, I just, it's, the comments are, it just always feels very hostile. And I just don't like it. Calvin says, I like how Ginger Runner does it. A comparison once a year for shorts and then a best of where they can also be featured. Yeah. Here's a problem that I have with that though, is that like, by the time he does that, it's no longer shorts season. You know what I mean? That's always the hard part about it. And so like what I'd like to do is like work with brands and be like, all right, guys, and like I'd even really like to do this either as like a trip that a bunch of us could do together, like a point to point, you know, running trip, you know, basically city slickers, but with running instead of cattle driving. That's the right word. Cattle driving. And be like, hey, I'm doing this trip. Let's get 3 or 4 brands to send a bunch of clothes and we'll test it for like a week, you know? Or do it on my own, or have a one brand send me to a place to do some you know, so like those are kind of things that, it's one of the reasons I hired a manager, so I could start getting some of those things put together, you know? So, yeah, so like I'm trying to figure out better ways to talk about stuff in a way that's relevant to you guys and and most importantly, timely. Cause like think about stuff like from Bandit. A lot of time, if I waited till I tested it through a season, it's already sold out, you know? And so like that makes it hard for you to make a decision a lot of times. So, but I do enjoy the fact that he does it like once a year, you know? Yeah. Brian Lang says, it's interesting seeing waterproof or Gore-Tex shoes marketed on Instagram to casual people. They make it seem like the second coming of Christ. Yeah, like what I find also interesting is I'm not sure how like waterproof shoes are marketed in tropical climates. So like Brian, you mentioned, and I'm kind of with you, like if it's hot enough, like just get wet. It'll cool you off, you know? But I get a lot, every time I make a review of a Gore-Tex shoe, I get questions from people saying like, well, how is it in hot, wet conditions? They'll say like they live in like a Southeastern Asian country where it's tropically hot and humid and rains every day, you know? And I always respond like, just get your feet wet, get shoes that breathe and drain, you know? Don't get waterproof shoes. You know, there you go. I only worry about waterproof if I'm worried about how cold they're going to be when they're wet, you know? So that's kind of how I feel about I don't know how because I'm getting the question so often, it must be something about the marketing that's driving the question, you know? So, yeah. Grant Reese says, I just signed up for my first marathon. Light at the end of the tunnel marathon. Isn't that what it's called? Light at the end of the tunnel? That you did in Snoqualmie outside of Seattle, but in September, going for a BQ. All right. Well, good luck. That's a fun race. I do want to go back there. I don't know when I will. But that would be a lot of fun. It's a fun course. And Mika Kataya says, the run testers do a great best new gear of the month review feature. Always has some interesting picks. Yeah, you know, and for Relay, back when Relay was also written word, I mean, one of the main reasons I initially wanted to join, I know things change and it's okay. But one of the main things, just to tell some backstory, is I was like, oh, well, this will be a good opportunity for me to practice writing. And so I had a segment called Reviewer's Notebook where I just wrote about all the stuff that I was wearing every month. And maybe that's what it needs to be. Maybe do I really need to start a newsletter? But like that kind of like, that felt like a nice way to do it, you know? Because then a lot of times it was like, I would give like a brief intro in case, at least for the first couple of editions of it, it was just like, you know, like out of Copenhagen, we've got Say Sky, they've been going heavy on kind of military inspired things, and they've done like a 180 pivot and went with a floral collection for the spring. So I felt like stuff like that was kind of fun to be able to put the new stuff in context of the old stuff. And I just don't know how to do that in video, I guess. Or maybe I just need to think about doing it more in video. So I don't know. Yeah, so that's just how I'm thinking about it. Kurt says, I don't need a date, Mike, but question, will there be another non-elite collab in the spring at some point? A new friend wanted to get something, but in Florida, so he doesn't need the knit hat. There is a hat coming out, I think next week. Soon. So I will let you guys know about that. So the non-elite, the hat that I wore in the reel that I posted just today, the 5x1200s, was that today? I don't remember when I made it a while ago, and then I think I posted it today. That one, and I raced Houston Half Marathon in it. That one, it's a baseball cap. So that's and it's a running hat. So that'll be one. Mika Gatai says, like, the Gore jacket, though, is definitely one for 100 miles with some swimming thrown in. I've been eyeing it for ultra use. The current Solomon Bonatti trail didn't handle last summer's bushwhacking. Oh, okay. I mean, it's not a cheap garment, and so I feel like that is one that would kind of live up to that. And I feel like that's really how I should test something like this. Like, just the rain of this morning probably wouldn't have been a good enough test, but maybe I just need to be more intentional about it. Maybe I just need to, I don't know. Brian says, I want to see Code just do a review on a spread of boutique running gear brands. That could be fun. I feel like I kind of try to do that whenever, if they're big enough, still boutique, but big enough to have presence at marathons. So like, maybe I didn't do a good enough job of doing that for Pioneers at their pop-up in New York for New York Marathon. I think they're going to be around in Boston this year. I'm not sure. They were last year. I'm not sure if they're going to be around this year. And like talking about stuff like Bandit. But like, Say Sky I think Say Sky was at TRE this year, but they didn't reach out to have an appointment with me. But, that's fine. They're sending me apparel to test. I mean, they just sent me a whole bunch of the doodle camo, which is kind of a fun combo of words. But they sent me almost all of the doodle camo. I know that there is a singlet as well. I don't know if there's a half tight, and I don't know if there's a hat, but I've gotten almost all of it, which I'm very happy about. I like the doodle camo, Yeah. Sean Devin wants to know if it's a crushable brim. It's a lot like the 5-panel hat that they have, I think. It's a little bit bigger of a fit though. So it's not the same shape as the John Muir hat that the Billy Yang collab. It's not that hat, and it's not the big Ben Trucker hat that the first non-elite was. But I think it's an iteration of the other hat. I wore a gray one for LA Marathon, and then I think I've wore the black one at a couple other races. But I think it's a modified version of that. I'm not sure if it's a new model or not. I should have brought it down here. I'll let you guys. I'll bring it tomorrow. Matthew Miller says, hate to ask about something that's been talked about maybe too much at this point, but recommendation between the Paris Edge and Paris Sky context. I really enjoyed Tempo Work and Endorphin Speed 3. I think my recommendation, I know this year other people are recommending other things. So like maybe if you tend to agree with them a lot, go with them. But for me, it's going to be the vast majority of people are going to be try the Sky first. And if that doesn't work for you, then the Edge probably will. Or more likely, like just go with a different brand of super shoe. You know what I mean? Because I think it's still going to be hard to find the Edge at a lot of stores. I hope that I'm wrong on that. I don't know like what the orders were like for which run specialty stores are going to carry both. But yeah, I think for most people, like you're gonna like the Sky. If you're not sure, like if you tried the Sky and you're like, I just don't know why I don't like this, then try the Edge. But otherwise, I'm like, you're probably gonna like the Sky. That's generally, and if you like the Endorphin Speed 3, I think that's gonna work for you. Cosmic Pinehole Michael says, if I did apparel reviews, they would be very niche. I tried 15 kinds of thin running socks, or I tried a dozen running shorts and pants with 5 or more pockets. I mean, I feel like that's actually would make a lot of sense. And I feel like that would take off on TikTok, by the way, like obscure and thorough, like that combo tends to work a lot over there, so like, I think I think people would watch that. I would probably watch that. I would watch it just to be like, can you really tell the difference between 10, 15 brands? And follow-up question would be like, did the same company make all those? Because a lot of times, socks, like there isn't like a Bandit factory, right? So like Bandit hires a company to make the socks for them to their spec, but I'm like, sometimes I don't think Bandit does this, but sometimes with some of like the cheaper brands that you find like on the internet, they're just buying from a catalog of options that a factory makes, and they'll put different logos on stuff, or maybe they'll they'll do this kinds of hems versus some other kinds of hems to differentiate, but like there's like a menu you choose from, so like that's what I would want to know. All right. Calvin says, I think most people tried the Edge first. If it's not in stock in most places. But I don't know if that's just low stock or high demand or both. Really, people have tried the Edge first? I couldn't even get the Edge, the first one. I asked ASICS if I should review it, and they were like, we don't think you're going to like it, which they were right. Because then they did send me the, I don't think they intended to send me the Edge Plus. But when I was in Malaga for the Meta Time Trials event, when I got these blue ones, not these blue ones, these, yeah. The box that they gave me was an Edge Plus, not a Sky Plus. And so I ran my first miles in the Plus series in the Edge, and I was like, for fast, it's great. I don't love it for marathon efforts. And someone at ASICS was like, wait, we're going to find you a Sky. So I actually came home with 2 pairs that day, even though I was supposed to only get one. So that was kind of nice. But I still think that they weren't intending to send me both. Maybe they would have eventually at some point. But this year with the red ones, I did get the Edge and the Sky, both, to test. But I just don't like the Edge. It's just not for me. Calvin says, are you ready to compete for views on Reels with TikTok on its way to be banned in the United States? I don't know that that's going to happen. It seems very extreme. And it's wild that it's gotten such almost unanimous support in the House. Like nothing gets unanimous support in the House right now. But it just seems like a very, very big way of doing what I think they're trying to do. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't think that there might be more users on like Threads and Instagram if TikTok gets banned. I think that those users will probably go to Snapchat first before they go to Instagram. Maybe my hunch. but I don't, just like I've tried putting my exact content on TikTok and it flops. So I don't think that the people that are on TikTok and watching running TikTok are going to be watching me anyway. And so I think if those creators are over there, they're going to be kind of like servicing that audience that already doesn't watch me. So I don't think it will be competition. Maybe it might be competition. If anything, it'll be growth, I think, rather than losing people. But, you know. Let's see. Sean Devlin says, does Threads have the ability to create lists yet? I'm waiting for that. I don't know. I didn't use lists in Twitter or X. So it's not a feature that I'm keeping an eye out for. But I've been enjoying Threads, probably a little bit too much. I just read it for a long time. Mika says, last night's run with the Nova Blast put me off Asics for a while. My toes have been hurting like mad because of the shallow toe box. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And let's see. And Aaron Barlow says, I picked up the Edge Paris, sample size of 1. I mean, if people are liking it, that's great. That's fantastic. That's awesome. I don't have a problem with that at all. And James says, the Edge is my favorite tempo shoe. It is very good at faster paces. So I will agree with you on that one. So I had a workout yesterday of 5 times 1200 at 10K pace. And I really could have gone with either Edge or Sky on that one. I think I would have enjoyed either one. But the deciding factor for me, and the reason why I picked the Sky over the Edge, was that after the workout, I had to do another 6 miles at easy pace just to round out for mileage for the day. And I guess I could have just switched shoes, like stopped at my car and had a different pair of shoes on, but I just wanted to keep it rolling. And so I was like, I know I don't want to do 6 easy miles in the Edge. So I picked the Sky. And the Sky was really good for the reps and the easy parts. But yeah, for a tempo shoe, yeah, I think it can be very good. For even if you're a Sky person, you know. And AJ says, I just watched your cloud eclipse video. He says, I have 130 miles in on it. Probably my ATF daily long runner, except they squeak like hell. They're your squeak? See, mine only squeaked. Oh, and I meant to put did I talk about the squeak in the video? I had a long section on the squeak, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about the squeak. Because for me, it only happened when I was very wet in the shoes, like running through a puddle, like submerging the clouds. And then for like a couple of strides afterwards, they squeaked. But even though it was raining later on, once like the puddle water had come off, mine didn't squeak anymore. And so like people have been mentioning the squeak. I don't get the squeak in mine. And CJS says, in terms of like picking a shoe for workouts versus the rest of the workout, he says, I feel the same way about doing workouts on the Takumi Sen 9 or 10. It's so good at speed, but so bad for warm up and cool down. I don't mind the Takumi Sen as much. It's just very firm and very like low to the ground. There's not a lot of cushion. That's the hard part about it. The Edge for me like actively hurts my arches. So that was a hard thing. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. Like the Takumi Sen is a shoe that I have thought about like, maybe I'll switch shoes if I've got a long amount of extra running I got to do later. Terry says, I don't get the squeak, but my knees click when I go up the stairs. Should I be worried? I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I might do some mobility work, you know. Maybe your knee is not moving well, you know. Andrew Scott says, the On Eclipse, it's not for burglars. That's true. All right. I think it's going to be a good place to end it for today. This time, the hour flew by today, guys. You know, we had so much fun talking about spreadsheets and stuff. So as new shoes will come in, we'll have even more fun. We'll add to the spreadsheet. It'll get more interesting the more I feel like you guys get it. But you guys are kind of teasing me a little bit. I'm okay with that. It's going to be a lot more fun once there's like a lot of shoes to talk about in there. You know what I mean? So we'll keep adding to the list. Maybe we'll have a game tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't want to promise it because I've been under delivering this whole week, but it's something that I'm not trying to forget. But we will have a live stream because tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. It's been a long week. So tomorrow's Friday. I'll see you then. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central. Until I see you then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.